Want to know how to use a yoga blanket to support your yoga practice? In this video, we're going to be talking about blankets and how to use them. But before we do, make sure to go like and subscribe to our channel so that you can be in the know when we upload a new video. We can use blankets in a variety of ways in a yoga practice. A lot of times they really help just make the ground feel a little more cushiony when you need that cushion, specifically under the knee. Now, if you don't have a blanket, you can always use a towel or a blanket that you have around your house. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of these yoga blankets. One tip that I like to tell all of my yogis is make sure that the blanket is folded neatly. This will make a huge difference when you're practicing, even though you might not think it does. To fold your blanket, take the two longest corners and connect them so that you're dividing your blanket in half. Now, this may seem silly that I'm teaching you how to fold a yoga blanket, but I can tell you after 7 years of having a yoga studio, this is definitely something we have to go over with our yogis. It does make a huge difference. So once it's in half, you take the shorter corners, bring them together, and it looks like this. Then you're going to fold the blanket in half and then again folding it this way. Now you have an open side and then a closed side. When I come to my mat at the beginning of any of my yoga classes, I sit on my blanket to give myself a little bit of cushion to also lift me up so that I feel nice and tall, but relaxed with that nice long spine. So I'll take the closed side of the blanket and have a seat. This is a great time for you to set your intention, take a moment to breathe, to transition from the outside world into your yoga practice. The second way I like to use my yoga blanket is under my knees. So in cat and cow, sometimes the ground is just really hard, or if you have sensitive knees, the blanket is great to open up and to put underneath your knees. So sometimes having this much is too much. So if you open up your blanket, it'll meet both of your knees. This is where that neatly folded blanket comes into play, because if your knees are resting on this blanket and it's all crumpled up or not folded neatly, you're gonna feel it. So you can take your knees on the blanket and get set up for your cat and cow. If you need extra support, then you just take the front two corners, fold them down, and here's even more support for your knees. Another way that you can use your blanket, and one that I like a lot, is during shavasana. There's a couple different places you can use a blanket during shavasana. That's the last pose we do in a yoga class, the one you're not supposed to miss, right? So make sure to grab a couple blankets when you come to your yoga mat. More is not bad, more is better. So the first thing we do is I keep it on this level and place it underneath my head. That way, when we lift up our head, our neck and our spine are in line. So we don't get this or chin up in the air, right? That is certainly not attractive. And it's also not a good thing for your neck over time. So when you lay down, you want to take the blanket to the small part of your neck where it just brushes the tips of your shoulders. Lay all the way down, and it's almost like a pillow. The other thing that you can do with your blanket is take it underneath your knees. So roll it up, place it under your knees. Let's get on this mat. And lay all the way back. And of course, you can always use a yoga blanket to cover yourself up during shavasana in case you get cold. Sometimes when we've gotten a really good practice in, we've warmed up and we've even sweat during class, when you lay down and you're relaxing and your body temperature is coming down, that sweat starts to make us feel a little bit cool. So a yoga blanket is really nice to cover up with. Bottom line, yoga blankets are a great tool to support your yoga practice. So always have one with you, and if not one, at least two, so that you can use them in multiple ways. Experiment, see what works best for you. And before you go, let's take a deep breath together to transition out into the next thing. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out, let it go. Namaste, friends.